Welcome back in. Hometown Sports Report brought to you by Farm Bureau. Bert, you don't approve of my bumper music, do you?
I do, because it makes my wife very happy. She loves the Beastie Boys, and I think...
Does she really?
Yeah, that's why she listens to the show.
Oh, your wife gets cooler by the day.
To hear her husband. She listens because you play Beastie Boys bumper music.
and old school wrestling themes. I also play that. And current wrestling themes. On the line now is our good friend, Coach Reggie of the AC Flora Falcons. Coach, how are you?
Great, guys. How you doing?
Good, sir. Thank you for coming on the program. And, Coach, congratulations on a big win over the Chapin Eagles. You needed that win to get into the postseason, 28-27. Kind of an interesting scenario. You guys were supposed to play them a couple weeks ago, but due to the floods, this one got moved to the end of the regular season. You know, I'm not going to say that helped or anything, but playing a Chapin team that has been absolutely rolling, you get a little extra time to kind of look ahead and face those guys. What happened in this one? Tell us how you guys were able to pull it off.
Well, it was just a great high school football game, first and foremost. You know, it was just two good teams going at it. We were very fortunate. We were able to change some things, I guess, at halftime. Really, probably key to it was halftime adjustments. They were up 21-7 and having their way with us with the passing game. And, you know, we made a couple of adjustments, played a lot of man coverage initially and switched to a zone concept and tried to disguise some things. And real fortunate, got a pick off, and some things kind of turned around after that.
Now, I was talking to some of the folks at the game, and they said there was a crucial point late in the fourth quarter, and this person wanted me to ask you this particular moment. It was, I believe, 4th and 1 at your own 29. Chapin, I don't think, had any timeouts, he recalls.
Yes, sir.
Take me through that. I mean, obviously, you make the first down, you know you win the game, 28-27.
Yeah. We felt like, you know, as potent as their offense was, that was our best shot. We gave the ball to Donald Giss, and he's our go-to guy. Anytime we need a yard, we're going to Donald Giss, and he came through. The linebacker met him in the hole, and Donald won that battle, and the rest is history.
Now, your quarterback, Brendan Green, has really been the guy that has done a lot for you guys. I believe a 2 or 3 year starter, just been outstanding. Student athlete here for you. Talk about his progression year to year and what this season means to him as he's carrying the team as the team leader.
Sure. Brendan's a 3-year starter, and he's done a great job for us all 3 years. He really wanted this game. He knew that it was a do-or-die situation for all of us, and you know, he puts a lot of pressure on himself and to perform. He started out kind of shaky in the first half, missed some throws that we thought he should have made, and you know, to his credit, he came back and made some crucial throws. We scored 2 touchdowns, throwing it to come within, to tie it up, and then you know, he just made it happen when he needed to.
Hey, Coach Shaw, this is Birch Antley. Thanks for joining us tonight on another rainy Monday as you get ready for a big game with Chapman. What do you know? What can you tell us about Chapman? We know they're 8-3. Their only losses to Greer, which is undefeated in Class 3A. They lost to Eastside, and they lost to Woodruff, who only has 1 loss playing in 2A Division I. A good team up there in Inman, South Carolina. What do you know about Chapman?
They are. Well, they're well coached. Mark Hodges does a great job. He's a class act. I've known him for years, and I know they're not going to beat themselves. They don't turn the ball over much. They play sound defense, and on offense, they do a variety of things to really exploit whatever you're giving them. So, an agile quarterback that can throw it, so that's always presents a problem for a defense anytime you got to defend 11.
Coach, what's your philosophy on road games in the playoffs? I know a lot of coaches, they have this philosophy that the farther you go, sometimes the better you are. They like to have that long bus ride so they can make sure that all of their kids are focused and getting their game faces on, and that they know that where they are and that there isn't any kind of hijinks or lack of concentration going on. Do you prefer a little bit longer of a bus ride, or does it really not make a difference to you?
Yeah, I want them to have a long enough ride so they can take a good nap, and I can too. Get refreshed along the way when we get there. I like playing in the upstate. It's quality football, a big fan support, and we're excited about going up to Chapman. Never played in that venue really since I guess I was in high school. We were in the same region, but they're known. Spartanburg County is known for for very good football, so we know we're going to have our hands full. But it'll be a great trip for us. We'll get out early, we'll eat on the road, and it'll be a great experience for our kids, hopefully.
Yeah, there used to be a good barbecue buffet up in Inman, but I can't remember the name of it. I'm sure you'll find it, though. But and I know you don't want to look ahead, but if you do get past Chapman, Coach, the road doesn't get easier as you're paired up with either the Blue Flame of Pickens or Seneca, the Bobcats, undefeated and ranked number 1 in the Palmetto Sportscasters Association High School Football Poll.
Yeah, everything we know about Seneca is that they could be playing on Saturdays. They have college size and speed, and they've had a great year. I mean, they're a cut above everybody. So we're just trying to focus on Chapman and see what comes after that.
And Coach, take us into the locker room, if you will. That win over Chapin. Take us into the locker room before the game and at halftime when you knew your guys still could come away with knocking off a previously unbeaten team and making the playoffs and not having to worry about points and holding and controlling your own destiny. For the G-rated version, what can you give us, your locker room speech?
It's always PG with us. Before the game was one of the shortest speeches I've ever given because the kids were locked in. You can see it in their eyes and you can see it in their demeanor. There wasn't a whole lot that needed to be said. They were prepared and they were focused and they were ready for a battle. Halftime, we were down by 14. I said, you got to make up your mind right now before you go back out. You got to have some resolve that you're going to find a way to do this. And the seniors looked at me and said, "We got this." And so I walked out. And the seniors really took over. I'm real proud of how they've come along this year because, frankly, they didn't have to lead last year. We had such a strong group that they didn't quite know how to lead. I think in the beginning of the year, but they've really come together. I'm just real proud of them.
How much did your offensive line and defensive line play a factor in that win over Chapin? To be able to come away with a win against a high-powered offense and keep that score manageable, that game had to be won in the trenches.
It was huge. When we were banged up front on offense and guys were playing through injuries, we weren't sure who was going to play until Friday on the offensive line. Just ankle injuries, lower back injuries, just a lot of different stuff going on. But then our D-line is young, and, they played one of their best games. We were just pleasantly surprised that they were able to control the line of scrimmage as far as the run goes. And, that anytime you can eliminate one half of the game, you feel like you can isolate what they're doing and hopefully have a chance.
Finishing things up with Coach Reggie Shaw, the AC Flora Falcons on 92.1 The Palm. Coach, we didn't mention this in the opening of the program about how you guys were able to come away with that win. One of the reasons. Did Trayshawn Hardy get a pat on the back when he blocked that Eagles point after try? I'm sure he got a couple.
Trayshawn has got a hug. He got more than a pat on the back. I mean, that was huge. And he's a kid who gives maximum effort. I mean, you never have to say anything to Trayshawn. He's a quiet kid who's been on the team for 3 years and never really played much. And you love to see those stories where kids put in their time and it comes to fruition for him as a senior. And it's been a neat story for him. He's a great kid.
Last two things with Coach Reggie Shaw, the AC Flora Falcons. Coach, the elephant in the room, of course, is what happened after the game. There was a lot made about it on local radio Friday night and all over Twitter and social media, all that stuff. We talked about it in the open. We talked briefly before the show came on, and you wanted to make a statement. I wanted to just hear your side, and folks wanted to hear more of it because Friday, it's your immediate reaction. Confusion turns to chaos, and chaos, unfortunately, turns into things, kids doing things they probably shouldn't be doing, and that's what happened Friday.
Yeah, it was really an unfortunate chain of reactions building up, I guess, all week, and I'm sorry that it happened. Going forth, from here on, you want to make sure that you know what the expectations are. So we've already contacted Chapman, about their pregame rituals, this and that, because you just want to try to eliminate those things. It's opened up a great dialogue between the administrators and the two schools, and I think going forth, everybody's going to be better for it. It's unfortunate that it happened, and I'm sorry that it happened. But it's an emotional game. It's a passionate game, and you're dealing with 15, 16, 17-year-olds at times. And so moving forward, I think Coach Gentry took the right approach to it. He's focused on the playoffs, and we are too, and hope that there was nothing intentional as far as being malicious, and there was no one hurt or hit. And we filmed the whole thing, and the video hopefully will show the truth.
I like that response, Coach. It sounds like you're kind of taking this as a teaching moment.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Anytime something like this happens, you definitely take a step back and evaluate the process and how you got to that point so that it never happens again.
And Coach, and speaking of teaching moments, I really meant to ask you this in the outset. After the victory over Chapin, putting your team in the postseason, we have not talked to you since the whole flood situation. And AC Flora was a school that was used as a shelter. And I'm just curious, what are you and your kids doing this whole thing? I know all these teams across the Midlands, we've talked about it week in and week out with the coaches that they've done things in their community, but this affected you guys not just as much, but maybe more than anybody in that Forest Acres area. How were you guys affecting?
Yes,
how were you guys affected in dealing with it there day after day?
Well, it was really tough to see. We had 3 players that lost some portion of the house. One senior linebacker lost his whole house, and one of our sophomore linebackers lost his father in a heart attack Sunday night of the flood, in a separate incident. But so it was a lot going on, a lot of emotions. But our guys, I was so proud of them. They anytime there was a need, we gutted the house and cleaned up the house of our linebacker, and then they stayed in the neighborhood and they went around and just volunteered. And so we had groups all over Columbia. There was a group out towards Lower Richland one day, and so that week of the flood recovery was very special to me, because I saw what we're trying to instill in young men, and that's to put others first and serve others. And just couldn't be more proud of how the season has turned out after going through such a tough time.
And it's still going on, Coach. Forest Acres, that's where I live, and it's still bizarre driving through the neighborhoods and still seeing, floors on the side of the road and houses still being gutted.
And road closures still.
Road closures still.
That's right.
And people still being affected. I talked with Ben Corley, who is your swim coach, after the state swimming championships, and he was very passionate and emotional about what was taking place and how all of the student body, especially the athletes, the student athletes at AC Flora, had responded and reacted. And he was just amazed, and he kept saying, there's still more to be done. If you can help, please do so.
Yes,
but I'm sure that a lot of that, learning to overcome adversity is kind of, carried your football team into the playoffs, and I'm sure you'll try to use that, that mental testing that they've gotten to try to get past this next test, which is Chapin.
Mm-hmm. It was a rallying point, and I think it really brought us closer together, because anytime you see people suffering and have a chance to have an impact on them, it's to me it's an eternal game changer. And I think that hopefully it creates some momentum. We definitely are tighter because of it. And I could sense just the week after, it was not a great game. We played Richland Northeast afterwards, and we weren't back in full stride, that's for sure. But after that, I could see the team really come together.
Well, Coach, they sometimes say no good deed goes unpunished, but I think these good deeds should get yourself your own football stadium.
Yeah.
We'll take it, brother. We'll take it. We've got some great plans ahead, and we're excited about the future.
Coach Shaw of the AC Flora Falcons, Coach Reggie Shaw. Listen, thank you for the extended time staying with us, Coach. Very well said here. Great stuff. Best of luck this Friday night against Chapman in the postseason. Appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. There he is, Coach Reggie Shaw.